In this video, we are going to discuss what is App Builder, the key features of App Builder, why we need App Builder with Adobe Commerce, out-of-process development tools for Adobe Commerce, core principles, the new way to extend Adobe Commerce, and the conclusion. So at the end of this video, you will have a basic idea of App Builder and understand the role of App Builder in Adobe Commerce.
What is App Builder? App Builder by Adobe is a platform designed for developers to create custom applications that enhance and extend Adobe's enterprise solution. It provides tools, SDKs, and pre-built templates, making it easier to develop apps that integrate smoothly with Adobe products like Adobe Experience Manager, Adobe Commerce. App Builder is a powerful serverless computing platform designed for developers to create custom applications that enhance and extend Adobe's enterprise solution. App Builder has multiple components. App Builder runs on a serverless computing framework. Using App Builder, we can build front-end single-page apps, or we can build microservice and back-end components. App Builder has developer tools. It has CLI commands, which allows us to build, deploy, and compile the source code. It also has the SDKs, which provides easy access to the Adobe's different product. And this entire thing runs on a serverless computing platform. So this is all about App Builder.
Let's discuss what we can build with App Builder. So App Builder offers complete application framework for extending Adobe's solution. So we can build headless applications, we can build single page apps, we can build microservice components, we can create REST API GraphQL endpoints. App Builder do not have transactional database, but it has a blob storage which can be utilized to store serialized and JSON data. For static contents, it has a content delivery network. React Spectrum is a framework which can be utilized to develop front-end components. CLI commands, which are useful for deployment, building your code, compilation. SDK libraries, which gives a easy integration with Adobe's different solution, and the CI/CD pipeline, which basically allows deploy the code automatically to specific workspace. Let us understand some of the common jargons of Adobe App Builder. So first thing is developer console. So a developer console is a web UI dashboard that provides a access to manage Adobe App Builder projects. Next is OpenWhisk. So OpenWhisk is a serverless computing platform that powers Adobe I/O runtime. Adobe I/O and Adobe I/O runtime, basically a serverless computing platform based on Apache OpenWhisk. It allows running custom code in response of event without managing the servers. Next we have Adobe I/O APIs, which provides easy access to the other Adobe products. We have the serverless hosting. So Adobe App Builder runs on a serverless hosting which is powered by Adobe I/O runtime and which has a backbone of Apache OpenWhisk. For static contents, we have the content delivery network, and the entire architecture is based on event-driven architecture. So we can trigger events, and also we can attach business logic to a specific action, specific event, and this is how the App Builder works. So we have understood what is App Builder, and we also understood what are the common use cases of App Builder. We have discussed some of the core libraries of App Builder. Now let us discuss how App Builder would be beneficial for the Adobe Commerce, and what are the advantage we'll get if we integrate App Builder with Adobe Commerce. Let us understand our problem statement. Over the years, user expectation has increased significantly. Websites are now expected to load within milliseconds to ensure a seamless user experience. At the same time, technology has become more complex and traffic on popular platforms has grown exponentially. Traditional monolithic app architecture are no longer sufficient to handle increased load of complexity. To address these challenges, Adobe Commerce has taken several initiatives and approaches. So if I consider the key milestone of Adobe Commerce first moved to the Adobe Commerce Cloud. Then there was multiple solution was decoupled like catalog service, live search, product recommendation, payment service. Few years back, Adobe Commerce introduced the experience-driven commerce or headless approach. Having said that, monolithic architecture has proven inadequate for handling large system with high customer volume, large number of orders and complex card. When implemented as a monolithic system, application often faces significant insufficiencies such as performance bottleneck, limited memory, processing power, etc. So what is the alternative? So this is how the architecture will look like Adobe Commerce and the app builder. So here if you have seen this is the Adobe Commerce, and here we have the headless or headful front end. All the third-party integrations we have moved outside the Adobe Commerce core, and we have implemented those things in the Adobe IO runtime using App Builder. So the advantage of this approach is that now the integration and features are loosely coupled with Adobe Commerce. It is running outside the Adobe Commerce infrastructure. It is running in the Adobe IO runtime, which is a separate server. And we also basically decoupled the solution and the feature wise. Now the integration would be more easy to integrate. So let us understand the new way to extend Adobe Commerce and what are the benefits of that. First thing, we are breaking the monolithic behavior and improving the performance. How we are doing that? We are moving complex process which takes more memory, which takes more processing power. Those things we are moving outside the Adobe Commerce infrastructure, which will eventually improve the performance. Next thing is the isolation. So these app builder apps can be modified, upgraded without touching the Adobe Commerce core platform. So upgradation is and modification of these app builder apps would be super easy. Scalability. So app builder apps has the facility which can scale the apps independently. So we do not have to basically manage those auto scaling part or configure those things. App builder infrastructure itself will manage those things. Next thing is a reusable component. So using app builder, if we are creating API endpoint or single page app, those components are reusable from mobile apps or any other web application. And finally, the deployment time. So the app builder apps deployment takes very minimal amount of time, and as these apps are deployed outside the Adobe Commerce infrastructure, so deploying or upgrading these apps do not enforce a downtime to Adobe Commerce infrastructure, so which will eventually benefit user experience. So Adobe has come up with multiple ways to extend, and these are called out of process development tools. So first thing, we already discussed app builder. So using app builder, we can create microservice component, REST API, and we can extend third-party integration and move the integration outside the Adobe Commerce. Events with AppBuilder can be utilized for asynchronous data operation, like if you want to synchronize order data with a third-party ERP or OMS, you can use the events. AppBuilder with webhooks, useful for synchronous data management or process, like if you want to calculate the shipping rates in the cart page, or if you want to calculate the tax in the cart page on the checkout page, you can use AppBuilder with webhooks. Admin UI SDK is useful for creating admin interface for Magento or Adobe Commerce. And finally, the API mesh is there to combine multiple data source into a single GraphQL endpoint. Let us discuss how the thought process would be going to be changed for this. As this is a new way to extend Adobe Commerce, the solutioning or the thought process need to be changed. Previously, all the extension development or third-party integration or the customization was done as part of the Adobe Commerce extension, but with this new approach, we are decoupling the solution and we are trying to utilize the app builder to extend those solutions. In the new approach, the deployment of the apps do not create in or enforce in downtime to the system. So fast go to market, we can go to the market quickly. The admin UI customization can be done via the admin UI libraries. Currently, in traditional approach we do through the UI component or through the XML approach as part of a Magento module or extension. App Builder also provides a number of APIs which allows us to connect with other Adobe products. So this is how the thought process would be changed. So if I have to conclude, so in the current approach or a traditional approach, everything is tightly coupled and built as a Adobe Commerce extension. But in the new approach, we decouple the integration and move those things outside the Adobe Commerce, and we build those things using Node.js or React.js in the app builder, which runs outside the Adobe Commerce infrastructure. Yeah, so finally, if we consider how Adobe Commerce ecosystem would be benefited from the app builder. So first thing is the reduced load on Adobe Commerce infra. So as we are moving the complex process outside the Adobe Commerce, so Adobe Commerce infra would be freed up, and which can be utilized to serve the front-end request or any other operations. So we definitely get a performance improvement in Adobe Commerce infrastructure. App Builder infrastructure scale automatically, it has horizontal scaling. So App Builder actions can handle more requests, and these do not have to configure or do not have to manage. These are done automatically by the infra. Next thing is the deployment time. As these app builder apps are outside the Adobe Commerce infrastructure, so deployment is super easy, and deploying those app builder apps will not enforce any downtime in the Adobe Commerce. So these are the advantage and how we should effectively use the app builder. That's all in the video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video with more exciting content.